if you want to start off with your mock draft, Patrick, that'd be great.
Sure. I think with the first pick, there's a lot of talk about Buster Posey going first overall. And Posey's having a big year, but, you wonder, does he really have that impact potential to go first overall? And, that's debatable. I don't think so. I think he's going to be a good catcher. I think he's going to hit. I don't know if he's a perennial all-star or anything like that. I see them leaning towards a prep shortstop by the name of Tim Beckham. And I've heard, too, that they may go with Gordon Beckham, who's a shortstop from the University of Georgia. But they're I've heard that they're not so much on Pedro Alvarez as much, who is the consensus #1 entering the season. So I think Tim Beckham, he's a 5-tool shortstop, prep player out of high school. That's just who I think at this point in time they may be leaning towards.
So who do you see at number 2 with Pittsburgh?
Number 2, Pittsburgh. I do not see them touching Pedro Alvarez. I know that they've had new ownership, new general manager, but they just have shied away from tough signs for best decade or longer. I think Justin Smoke fits them a lot right here. I think they really need to get an impact bat in their system. If they do decide to pony up the dough for Alvarez, good for them. They should. But at this point in time, I think Justin Smoke would be a nice fallback option for them. Royals at 3. I think a lot of people have them picking the top pitcher. I think they're going to go bat because their system's really thin. I think this could be a perfect spot for Buster Posey. I think he'd sign quick, get in that system, and I think he could soar up. The Royals, kind of one of those dark horse teams for the next couple of years, and he could be a big part of that. For Orioles, I think the Orioles or the next pick, the Giants, one of those two teams I think is a good spot for Alvarez should he fall, for Pedro Alvarez. But I think the Orioles may go with Brian Mattis here. They like college lefties. They were thinking about going a lefty last year before they took Wieters. So I'll take Alvarez there. I'll take Aaron Crow for the Giants. They just need to get as much talent in that system as possible. At 6 for the Marlins, I think the Marlins is a good player for them at this point would be someone like Gordon Beckham. Another guy that's having a big college year that could really come up and help the Marlins. Another one of those dark horse teams that could be playing, in the postseason next couple years. Next for the Reds. Reds may be a good destination for, you'd think they'd want pitching, but they've done a great job with shortstops recently. If Gordon Beckham's there, I think he makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna take them going. I'm gonna have them going Skipworth. I think he's just a good fit for them. White Sox, I think Yonder Alonso. The one definite thing I've heard so far this year is that the White Sox are all over bats. They're looking at Smoke. They're looking at Alonso. They're looking at Brett Wallace of Arizona State. So I think it's a fairly safe bet that the White Sox go with a bat here. Nationals, I think Eric Hosmer. I think he's a good fit here. I think the Astros would be a good fit for someone like Tanner Scheppers, who, he's pitching really well this year. And last fall, he's just got a lightning quick arm, great size, up in the mid to upper 90s consistently, and his control has really improved this year. I think the Rangers would be a good spot to take a guy that has slipped. Maybe they go with a Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Their owner obviously has a history of working with Scott Boras, so he's not afraid. But I think a guy that fits for them perfectly is Shooter Hunt. I could the greatest name in college sports, Shooter Hunt. You can see him pitching for the Rangers.
Yeah.
Athletics, I think Brett Wallace makes a lot of sense for them here. They love those, patient, left-handed guys that aren't exactly the model of conditioning, and so he'd be a good fit there. Cardinals, Cardinals would be a good fit for Tim Melville here too. He's in their own back door. I could see the Cardinals going after a guy like Aaron Hicks of another prep player from California, either as a pitcher or as an outfielder. Cardinals are another team that just need to add as much talent in their system as they can. Let's see, the Twins. The Twins are another team I think could take Aaron Hicks, but I think a guy that kind of fits perfectly for them and kind of follows the type of players they really like is a shortstop by the name of Casey Kelly, who's also could go in the first round as a pitcher. He's also committed to the University of Tennessee to play quarterback. But he's kind of made it known that, if someone signs him as a shortstop, that he will, go pro, or he may go pro, I should say.
Was that Todd Helton that also was a quarterback coming out of Tennessee that decided to go baseball instead of football?
Yep. Yeah, and they took Joe Mauer, who had that that commitment to play quarterback for Florida State. Dodgers, I already mentioned Tim Melville, and then for the Brewers, I think Connor Gillespie, third baseman of Wichita State, makes a lot of sense. He's a left-handed hitter, pure hitter, hits for average, tough guy, doesn't wear batting gloves. You gotta love that. Hunts, he'd be a perfect fit for the area. Hard-nosed player, plays third base, fills a need, also can move fast. So we'll see.